The army thought the experiment was a failure, that their drug didn't work. But it just took a little time to turn you into Deathstroke.
Where's my boy? Where's Joseph?
Will you join Hive? Or will my men slit little Joseph's throat here and now?
The answer is no.
But you're a mercenary. And the people that you love have paid a terrible price.
You see, I have a secret. I'm a knight, like the ones in our favorite book. Roaming a dangerous world. And I don't want those dragons to hurt you, ever again.
So what are we going to do about it?
We?
You're not going after him alone this time.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my new Deathstroke movie trailer video. If you didn't realize, they stealth made a Deathstroke movie and just dropped it video on demand. Because of the virus, not a whole lot of theatrical releases happening. It's a relatively short movie, too. There's a bunch of Easter eggs, so we'll break it down. I'll also explain what's going on with Deathstroke in the movies and Deathstroke in other places, too, because there are several live-action versions of Deathstroke right now. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We'll do a new Amazon giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and let me know what you want them to do with Deathstroke in the DC movies. As far as we know, Joe Manganiello is still Deathstroke in the DC movies, and they were planning on doing a live-action Deathstroke movie with his Justice League Deathstroke. I will talk about that during the video. But this movie right here is actually an R-rated animated movie. If you're surprised that they're doing that, they actually just released Justice League Apocalypse War, probably one of the best animated DC movies that they've ever done, and that was rated R too. So it sounds like Warner Brothers is getting more and more comfortable with doing R-rated animated movies. There have been other hardcore R-rated animated movies in the past they've done, like Batman: The Killing Joke. If you didn't recognize the voice during that trailer, Deathstroke is being played by Michael Chiklis, which isn't something I ever expected. It's kind of a surprise. But this is all just about Deathstroke, a little bit about his origin story, but it doesn't completely retell his origin story. It's actually just a small part of it. The movie itself is relatively short. It was originally billed as a series, and without giving away big spoilers about the way that they end it, because I have had a chance to see the movie, they do have a clear setup for a sequel or a season 2 or however they plan on handling that. For the most part, Hive is the main villain. They tell his basic backstory, explain his family. There are a couple minor changes from the comics. They don't do Grant Wilson, and Rose Wilson is now his oldest child from an affair before he had Joseph, Jericho. For the most part, the character's abilities are relatively accurate to the comics, but this movie is mostly just setting up what's going on with Hive and with Jericho and with Rose Wilson Ravager. And big deep-cut Easter egg, the person who plays Billy Wintergreen during this is actually Colin Salmon, who played Walter Steele on Arrow. I know everyone remembers Manu Bennett's version of Arrow. It'd be amazing if they could bring him back at some point on one of the TV shows. But because of what's happening with Deathstroke in the DC movies, and because of what's happening with him on Titans, because there's another new live-action version, I don't know if Manu is ever going to come back and play the character again. But never say never. What's happening with Deathstroke in the movies right now is that they're getting ready for the Justice League Snyder Cut. I just did a trailer video for that yesterday. Zack Snyder released some new footage. They're going to release even more footage later this summer at the DC Fandom event. Joe Manganiello was actually tweeting out when he found out that they were going to do this, saying that, they're going to put the original post-credit scene back in from Justice League. In the theatrical cut, he just breaks Lex Luthor out of prison, and then they talk about forming the Injustice League, a league of our own, so to speak. So in the Justice League Snyder Cut, it just sounds like we're going to get way more Deathstroke in that post-credit scene or towards the end of the movie. Him breaking Lex Luthor out of prison, then them discussing their plans about what's going to happen next, because clearly they were trying to set up more of a villain team-up down the road. This Deathstroke post-credit scene, even in the Snyder Cut, was also originally going to set up a Deathstroke versus Batman movie. That was going to be Ben Affleck's version of the Batman. It was going to be more of an Arkham Asylum type of movie. Batman fighting his way through each level lower into Arkham, and it was going to be based on The Raid Redemption. If you haven't seen that movie, it's a great martial arts action-heavy movie. Deathstroke was going to be the main villain of that. Then they also developed a separate Deathstroke spin-off movie just for him that would have gotten more into his origin story. So they had big plans for Deathstroke in the DC movies. The director of the Deathstroke movie said that that's mostly been backburnered, so the scripts and all the development for that is sitting on a shelf right now. They might revisit it at some point later. They haven't announced any future release date for an actual Deathstroke movie. But I think because of the success of the Joker movie and them doing more hardcore villain R-rated DC movies, they might be more open to doing a new Deathstroke live-action project. And I know a lot of you have asked about this too, because people are like, what about Ben Affleck coming back for an HBO Max Batman series if the Snyder Cut takes off? I do think that if the Snyder Cut does well, Warner Brothers will be more open to doing HBO Max projects like the Snyder Cut. I don't think that Ben Affleck is planning on coming back as the Batman, but HBO Max would be perfect for a hardcore Deathstroke miniseries. You do 6 to 8 episodes, just like the big Marvel Disney Plus series. That's basically what DC is using HBO Max for. The Green Lantern HBO series is going to be super big budget, and the Justice League Dark project that J.J. Abrams is doing on HBO Max is going to be super big budget. The reason why they're putting those on HBO Max and not doing them as movies first is just because they can spend more time doing the storytelling. They want more subscribers for HBO Max, so they want to put premium content there, and they can make it a little more hardcore, a little more R-rated. Remember that live-action Deathstroke teaser that Ben Affleck posted so many years ago? That wasn't actually for Justice League. That was actually for the Batman movie that he was developing when they were still trying to figure that out. They did try to do a relatively comic book accurate version of Deathstroke on the Titans TV show. There were a couple of changes to the way they did his character, but they introduced him through a Nightwing origin story about Dick Grayson becoming the Nightwing character and using Teen Titans The Judas Contract from the comics. Talking about Deathstroke tier list, where does this new animated movie rank in the other DC movies recently and with the other versions of Deathstroke? I feel like they did a good job with the story. It's meant to be smaller, self-contained. Michael Chiklis did a great job. I'm still partial to Manu Bennett's version, and I still really wanted to see what Joe Manganiello was going to do with the character. I still think that Justice League Apocalypse War is probably going to be DC's best animated movie or best R-rated animated movie for a good long while. The upcoming movies that they have right now are Batman The Long Halloween, which I'm actually really excited about because, one, it's a badass story, and I'm surprised that they haven't tried to turn it into a movie before. But also, this is kind of funny because Matt Reeves, the Batman movie during 2021, is also based on The Long Halloween comic book story. Now, just to be clear, it's only inspired by The Long Halloween comic book, so it's not going to be exactly like the comic story. The animated Batman Long Halloween movie will be much more comic book accurate, albeit an abridged version of the comic, because the movie's only going to be about 2 hours long. They're also doing a brand new Superman Man of Tomorrow movie. It's sort of a refresh of the character, because they just used the Justice League Apocalypse War movie to sort of end this version of the Justice League DC animated movie universe. They had all these movies going back to Justice League War and the Flashpoint movie so many years ago that were all in continuity with each other, this shared universe. So the reason why they rebooted that with Justice League Apocalypse War is because they wanted to give it their sort of Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame bookend, give them a chance to retool things behind the scenes, try some new animation styles and some new techniques, and just start fresh with new versions of the characters and new voiceover actors playing the characters. But they'll always bring back the classic voiceover actors like Kevin Conroy to do more Batman projects. There's even rumors that Bruce Timm, Mr. Batman the Animated Series himself, is also coming back to do another Batman project. I know there's a lot of questions about what's going to happen with the Justice League Snyder Cut. Is that going to be canon now? Are they going to do new projects set in that universe going forward? Technically, everything stays canon. The universe continues as long as the same actors are playing the characters, even if it's only a couple. I know Robert Pattinson is taking over as the Batman, but there's ways to explain stuff like that, like the Flash and the Flashpoint movie. That's the easiest way, hands down, to explain why Batman looks different after the Flash movie. There'll be a bunch of footage for all the upcoming DC movies and panels happening at the DC Fandom event later this year. If we get any more details about stuff, of course I'll do new videos. Congratulations, Chase Gaming, you're the giveaway winner from my last big DC video. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your details. Everyone click here to rewatch that Justice League Snyder Cut trailer, and click here for my Justice League Apocalypse War ending and Easter eggs video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. I'll see you guys tonight.